Hey, what are you doing?
Last number dialed, my lab.
Yeah, so it could have missed out.
The last email, confirmed for a
TV drama shocker, NCIS cancellations and big updates. Intro music and visuals of TV shows. Hey, everyone! Today, we're diving into some major news from the world of TV crime dramas. From shocking cancellations to exciting updates, let's break it all down. Scene, clips from NCIS and other shows. First up, NCIS, Hawaii, the fan-favorite spin-off, has officially been cancelled, leaving viewers heartbroken. This show brought a refreshing mix of action, diversity, and heartfelt characters like Jane Tennant and Lucy Tara, redefining what a crime drama could be. Transition, flash to Blue Bloods cast. And speaking of goodbyes, Blue Bloods wrapped up after a long run. While technically not a cancellation, fans were left wanting more after its abrupt ending left many storylines unresolved. Will we see a spin-off with Jamie and Eddie? Only time will tell. Scene, posters of Dead Boy Detectives and Warrior. In other news, Dead Boy Detectives and Warrior have also bid farewell. These shows explored unique themes, Dead Boy Detectives with its supernatural lens and Warrior with a gritty take on 18th century crime and immigration. Fans are still campaigning for their return. Transition, clips of NCIS Netflix. But it's not all bad. NCIS is making a big comeback on Netflix. Seasons 1 to 5 are set to stream in January 2025, alongside seasons 12 to 18. Perfect for new fans or longtime viewers looking to relive the drama. Outro music and visuals. That's all for today's update. Which cancellation hit you the hardest? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates from the world of TV and entertainment. End screen, channel logo and subscribe prompt. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Shows Update. We're still upset that NCIS, Hawaii and the other TV crime series were cancelled in 2024. Some major events have been cancelled or cancelled in 2024. These are the ones that still make us angry. We are more affected by some cancellations than others. In 2024, a number of popular television crime dramas were either cancelled or concluded. Months later, we're still bitter about some of them. Being upset that your favorite TV program is ending is quite acceptable. It's acceptable for some individuals to want to fight for something you don't care about. Everybody has different hobbies. Since they didn't resonate with me the way other shows had over the years, I'll admit that I didn't understand why I had to battle for a few episodes in the past. It doesn't follow that other people can't appreciate a series. That does not negate the reality of the fight. Some of the 2024 cancellations were the most painful. This list contains the shows that we simply weren't prepared for, such as those that ended unexpectedly and others that were cancelled. Hawaii on NCIS. Naturally, the #1 program on my list is NCIS, Hawaii. It's one of those television crime dramas that offers much more than a criminal pursuit. This series gave us a varied team that demonstrated what people can become when they are inspired to be their best selves. Let's examine Jane Tennant, who demonstrated that it is possible to be both a strong leader and a mother. Then there is Lucy Tara, who demonstrated that prioritizing one's career is perfectly acceptable. Even yet, she managed to keep her friendship with Kate Whistler intact, and we were able to witness that kind of authentic lesbian romance on television. Ernie, who had a golden heart, was by far my favorite character. He demonstrated that you can still wish a lady well even after she rejects you. He demonstrated that, as long as you truly go about your work while obsessing about something, it doesn't matter what other people think of your passion. Bloods of Blue. I'm still not over the numerous cancellations that CBS experienced in May 2024. Even though Blue Bloods was officially over, it still seemed somewhat like a cancellation. After all, with so many people battling for the series to reach 15 seasons, it didn't finish the way it had hoped. It didn't make sense that, despite being a Friday night series, it was still one of the network's best shows. We have a family of police officers and attorneys thanks to Blue Bloods. Whether it was Jamie Reagan's post on the beat or Frank Reagan's role as police chief, we were able to observe every aspect of law enforcement. We got to observe how the parties could occasionally conflict and had the opportunity to observe how it operated legally with Aaron. It wasn't quite an ending, but at least Blue Bloods had time to do it. We needed a spin-off series since there were so many unanswered questions. Jamie and Eddie have my vote, detectives of dead boys. Admittedly, I wasn't compelled to watch this series immediately. I apologize, I simply didn't find The Sandman to be effective. On the other hand, I adore ghost programs and criminal dramas. When a few viewings, I was convinced when I understood and could relate to the characters. Dead Boy Detectives was not merely a crime drama about supernatural activity. It gave us a glimpse into the hereafter. It centered on the idea of leaving things behind and the idea that you can only feel alive when you're dead. The idea that souls don't follow conventional timetables was hinted at by the discussion of discovering the individuals you're destined to be with decades after or before your time. Future seasons of The Sandman should definitely include the Dead Boy Detectives characters, or at the very least reference them. Many people, like me, are upset about the cancellation since the play has a deeper meaning than you might first imagine. Warrior. Alright, so in December 2023, this series was officially cancelled. It felt like it was cancelled in 2024 because it was so near the conclusion of the year. The fact that Netflix acquired the show from Max and made all 3 seasons available to a wider audience in February 2024 doesn't help either. There was a glimmer of optimism that it would be rescued, but nothing materialized. In the 18th century, Warrior told us a story. There was a combination of crime drama and gang drama. We had the opportunity to witness the realities of Chinese immigrants seeking a new beginning in America. If you don't believe that places like Chinatown could still exist, you only need to read some of the current online remarks regarding immigration. I strongly advise you to read the statements made regarding immigration in Canada. The series presented us with a range of allegiances, relationships, and historical truths in addition to social commentary that is still relevant now. It was exquisitely written and constructed, unlike any other show I've ever seen. And that cliffhanger in the 3rd season was terrible. Inside the life of NCIS star Sean Murray, from his well-known family to a supposed rivalry with co-stars. Sean Murray, star of NCIS, will reprise his role as Agent McGee, but what more can we learn about the actor outside of the film? The CBS Police Procedural's primary cast from the previous season is prepared to return to their roles as Season 22 premieres on Monday, October 14th on CBS. Murray, who will once again play the charming agent Timothy McGee, is one of the returning actors. He initially appeared on our screens in Season 1, Episode 7, Sub Rosa, more than 20 years ago, and he is currently the cast member with the longest tenure. Before McGee and the rest of the cast return for NCIS Season 22 next week, let's take a deeper look at the 46-year-old star's life. Early professional life. Murray's first big-screen performance was in the classic Halloween film Hocus Pocus, which starred Sarah Jessica Parker, Bette Midler, and Kathy Najimy. He portrayed Thackeray Binks, a 17th-century adolescent who was cursed by the Sanderson sisters and transformed into a cat, in the 1993 movie. With the return of previous seasons, NCIS is getting another makeover on Netflix. One of the most popular Netflix series in recent years has been NCIS. Even while it doesn't quite make the news like that, it often ranks highly in the Nielsen end-of-year charts, and we have a good feeling that it will continue to do so in 2024. Although that's the only change, Netflix lost the earlier seasons of the show but acquired a few new ones in the middle of this year. Just a brief reminder on the target audience for this essay before we get started. Unfortunately, NCIS is only available on Netflix in the US at this time, so the news below won't affect any other countries because the streaming rights are already owned by companies like Sky in the UK. For the past 6, soon to be 7, years, viewing NCIS on Netflix has been a frustrating experience, as fans of the program will know. Netflix had a good run till 2018. Seasons were added to the streaming site annually because to an old output agreement Netflix had with CBS, the network that broadcasts the series. However, that ended with season 15 in late 2018. Netflix would retain the rights to seasons 1 through 15 until June 2024, but future seasons were only accessible on Paramount Plus after that. Naturally, June arrived very swiftly, and all 15 seasons were set to depart Netflix. Though there are some advantages and disadvantages, a new agreement was reached to retain the show on Netflix. The show's first 11 seasons were lost to Netflix, but the upside was that 2 additional seasons, seasons 17 and 18, would be available on the streaming service. As a result, Netflix has only released seasons 12 through 18. Many people like to watch titles from the start, even if it's procedural and you may technically join in at any time. Netflix revealed that some, but not all, of NCIS's earlier seasons would return as part of its January 2025 schedule. Beginning on January 23, 2025, NCIS seasons 1 through 5 will be available again on Netflix. Although this little selection may appear strange, it makes sense as a tactic to entice viewers with the older seasons before jumping straight to season 12 instead of beginning with the 12th season. This implies that Netflix US will start streaming on January 23, 2025. Seasons 1 to 5. Seasons 12 to 18. Seasons 6 to 11 and 19 to 22. Season 22 is presently broadcast on CBS, will remain Paramount Plus only for the foreseeable future. In June 2025, another NCIS update is anticipated. Some earlier seasons will be available on Netflix at that time, but what about the upcoming update? Will Netflix release seasons 18, 19, 20, 21, or perhaps 22? Although it's a bit early, we are aware that the next update is planned for the middle of 2025. A refresh could result in the arrival of newer seasons, the departure of previous ones, a mix of the two, or the complete discontinuation of the program. In a surprising cameo, Zac Efron appears completely different, shocking NCIS watchers. When they noticed Zac Efron making a brief appearance on NCIS, fans went crazy. Over the course of its more than 20 years on the air, the well-liked CBS program has had many well-known guests, such as Jamie Lee Curtis and Millie Bobby Brown. People are discussing about Zac's guest part, though, as the High School Musical star played teenage Daniel Austin in 2006. People who are rewatching the show are only now becoming aware of who it is. After Zac and his companion were found using a phone that had been used by an abduction victim to contact for assistance, Zac's character was brought to NCIS headquarters for interrogation. Viewers of NCIS are kicking their feet as they plead with 2 characters to meet up. NCIS watchers discover a significant hint that Mark Harmon, a beloved character, may make an unexpected comeback. After witnessing Zac, viewers expressed their surprise on X. One fan noted Zac Efron in this episode of NCIS, which caught them off guard. A third person joked, "I'm watching NCIS and Zac Efron just appears?" Another person asked, "Zac Efron in NCIS?" Another person exclaimed, "That moment you spot a babyface Zac Efron on an old episode of NCIS." The 6th viewer wrote, "I still crack up about Zac Efron being on NCIS." 3 days before to the premiere of High School Musical, Zac's NCIS episode aired. The NCIS's boss teases Parker's mangled-up history and rules out one Lily theory. Who precisely is Lily? That may be the most important mystery surrounding this NCIS mid-season break. The young girl Parker, Gary Cole, initially saw while bleeding out on the ship in the season 21 finale was given that name. We'll talk more about how that word is used in a moment. Since then, he has seen her once more. According to executive producer Stephen D. Binder, the idea to give his character this depth was in place from the very beginning with the original pitch to Gary Cole. Perfect characters who are perfectly adjusted aren't very interesting, the speaker said. It didn't happen up front for some reason. Instead of introducing him with a deficit, a fatal fault, or something from his background, I believe it was an attempt to bring him into the world first and integrate him into the team. Thus, we waited for a while. The NCIS's boss teases Parker's mangled-up history and rules out one Lily theory. Who precisely is Lily? That may be the most important mystery surrounding this NCIS mid-season break. The young girl Parker, Gary Cole, initially saw while bleeding out on the ship in the season 21 finale was given that name. We'll talk more about how that word is used in a moment. Since then, he has seen her once more. According to executive producer Stephen D. Binder, the idea to give his character this depth was in place from the very beginning with the original pitch to Gary Cole. Perfect characters who are perfectly adjusted aren't very interesting, the speaker said. It didn't happen up front for some reason. Instead of introducing him with a deficit, a fatal fault, or something from his background, I believe it was an attempt to bring him into the world first and integrate him into the team. Thus, we waited for a short while, he tells TV Insider. Like other ideas, these writers like to let things percolate a little bit, Binder continues. What's the best way to do this thing that we want to do? And when Scott Williams pitched the season finale last year, it just seemed like a perfect match to finally bring in this character from his past, or his present. You don't really know yet. The last time we saw her was in season 22 episode 8, Out of Control, in which Parker was so distracted he swerved on the road. Then, when he tried to approach her at the end, off Grace's, Laura San Giacomo, suggestion, she left. But there was a note for him in his mind, at least you can't tell anyone. It sounds like NCIS is going to continue to slow play the reveal to come. There's two trains of thought on this, says Binder. One is, let's just go there and get there and do it. And the other, which I'm more partial to, is there are really so many interesting layers to this that each new layer is its own sort of, imagine if You Can't Tell Anyone was the Act 1 out and then we just burned through all the cool mystery in one episode. I don't know that it would be as enjoyable if we did that. So every time we go back to the storyline, I do promise that we're going to take it to a new and interesting place every single time. We're not going to draw anything out. We're going to take you through this and get you to the place where we're going. But it's a really interesting sort of messed up history that Parker has and that we don't want to blow all in one episode. He then pointed out that it took until season 3 to really learn what was gnawing at Gibbs, Mark Harmon. Binder does share that when it comes to Lily's identity, if it's a theory, it's probably wrong. This is not his sister, and I wouldn't even say her name is Lily necessarily. Parker had also seen his mother in that vision in the season 21 finale, though he refuses to talk about in therapy with Grace, for now. We all have family lore that gets passed down to us by our elders. And what is going to trigger Parker is he's going to go dig into some family lore and find out it's not what he had been told, that he has a memory of events, and then there were the events that his father, Francis X. McCarthy, told him, and then there are the events that actually happened, teases Binder. We're going to see Parker's father again. Parker's going to get a chance to go question his father about this and realize that what his life, or some life history that he thought was real, is not actually his history. NCIS isn't new tonight, but we know when the series will return. NCIS Season 22 is taking a break for the rest of 2024. Here's when we'll see the show return, and what we can expect. There is a little bit of bad news. We're not going to get to know more about Torres' secret love in NCIS Season 22 just yet. There isn't a new episode of the series on tonight, Monday, December 23rd. That isn't too surprising when you consider the time of year. We're seeing all our favorite shows take some time off, if they haven't come to an end, and it means a wait until 2025 for the shows to come back. The good news is NCIS Season 22 will return, and we know when and why is NCIS taking a break. What's with this lengthy break? At this time of year, the break helps in a few ways. This is when the linear ratings take a hit as people don't spend time watching regular TV. They want to spend time with family, or they are out doing things locally for the season. This means the shows could be put at risk if the schedules remained as normal. Plus, it's not like we can have new episodes every single week of the regular TV schedule. We need breaks, and having one this time of year just works well for the linear ratings. This also allows the cast and crew to take the time off, returning in January to make sure there are more episodes in the bank to avoid too many weeks off later in the schedule. When will NCIS Season 22 return with new episodes? So, how long will we need to wait for the show's return? Not too long. NCIS Season 22 is back on Monday, January 27th. This is a little later than we'd like, and later than ABC and NBC, but we did get episodes all the way into December unlike most shows on the other networks. Episodes will follow the two comedy shows as normal, so we'll get them at September 8th. See. NCIS Origins will continue to follow the flagship series. When the show does return, we'll get to see the bakery Parker keeps going to. It turns out he has a crush on the owner, and when she is blackmailed, he will stop at nothing to help her. Melina Kanakaridis has been cast in the role of the bakery owner, who doesn't seem to have a name yet, according to the report from TV Insider. We'll also get to know a little more about Torres' love interest. This has been a secret, and it could have been the best thing for Torres. Tensions are heightened when people find out who the romance is with. Will we have something connected to Bishop? Or is this linked to the previous storyline with the CI? Why Polly Parrott's Abby Ciuto left NCIS? The CBS crime drama NCIS has had countless memorable characters over the course of its 22 seasons. The most iconic of these characters is Polly Parrott as forensic scientist Abby Ciuto, who was an integral part of the CBS television series NCIS from the very beginning. Parrott remained an important member of the core cast until exiting the series in 2018. Despite her dark black hair, tattoos, gothic style, and love of all things creepy, Abby was a shining light of optimism and joy in a show about violence and murder. Abby's brilliance and unique style made her one of the most popular characters on television. It was understandably shocking to fans when Polly Parrott decided to exit the show in 2018. Abby Ciuto changed the representation of goths in film and television, showing the subculture was more than a phase picked up by moody teenagers, and showed young women that they could successfully pursue careers in science. Because of Abby's cultural significance, rumors abounded when Parrott left NCIS, some online gossip even attributing her departure to a planned skincare and makeup line, later to be adamantly denounced as false by Parrott. While some details still remain a mystery, more information has come to light about Parrott's decision to hang up her lab coat. Abby was a fan favorite from the beginning. Audiences fell in love with Abby Ciuto's brilliant mind and eye-catching style. First appearing in the pilot episode of NCIS in 2003, Polly Parrott's character, forensic scientist Abby Ciuto, immediately stood out. Her goth-inspired wardrobe sharply contrasted with the pantsuits and military uniforms around her. A brilliant scientist, Abby often saw important details others missed and used unconventional methods to make important discoveries. Before donning Abby's iconic lab coat, Parrott began her acting career in shows like The Drew Carey Show and Frasier, and used her experience on these comedy shows to add levity to the otherwise dark drama. Abby Ciuto was a huge departure from how goth characters were typically portrayed in film and television. Abby enjoys death and darkness, but is extremely chipper and optimistic instead of angry and sullen like other TV goths. Creator Donald Belisario wanted to push back against assumptions about alternative and artistic kids, feeling they were usually portrayed as junkies, thieves, and criminals. After the Columbine massacre in 1999, the killers were incorrectly identified as goths, and this led to an increase in animosity towards goths at the time. Parrott and Belisario believe Abby helped people see goths in a kinder light, that, instead of thinking they're a thug, they maybe think they're a scientist. Abby continues to be a goth-style icon. Mixing and matching style elements from different aesthetics gave Abby a unique look. Abby Ciuto continues to be a goth-style icon, even though Abby would never define herself as such, forever eschewing simple labels. Her style is a unique amalgamation of goth, emo, punk, and other alternative subcultures. Combined with her lab coat and other forensic gear and gadgets, her wardrobe is a great representation of the futuristic goth visuals that were popular on film and television in the late 90s and early 2000s, seen in films like Queen of the Damned and Blade. The juxtaposition of her high-tech gear with the romantically melancholic elements of her goth style is the perfect visual representation of how her character defies expectations. The most frequent motifs found in Abby's style are images associated with death and decay, like skulls and spiders, appropriate for a forensic scientist who spends her day dissecting dead bodies. The most memorable feature of Abby's wardrobe was her penchant for platform shoes. Polly Parrott loves Abby's style, but was so sick of wearing platform shoes that, for her following television series Broke, her contract stipulated that Parrott's character Jackie had to wear comfortable shoes. Fans loved Gibbs and Abby's relationship. Gibbs and Abby were perfect foils for each other. A popular element of NCIS was the father-daughter relationship between Leroy Jethro Gibbs, played by Mark Harmon, and Polly Parrott's Abby Ciuto. The two characters played well off of each other. Gibbs' rough exterior softened around Abby's bubbliness, helping to humanize his character. Gibbs also defended Abby's unconventional approach to forensic science and investigations, attesting to Abby's brilliance when others doubted her. A running gag of the series was that Gibbs was a brilliant investigator, but was clueless when it came to science and technology, often saying "reboot it" whenever he had trouble using a cell phone or computer. This led to hilarious scenes with science with Abby trying to assuage Gibbs' tech phobia. The storyline also helped attract a wider age range to the show, as many young people could relate to trying to teach an older relative how to use a cell phone. Parrott had a falling out with Mark Harmon. Harmon's actions on set led Parrott to see NCIS as an unsafe working environment. After 15 years as the iconic goth scientist, Abby Ciuto, Polly Parrott left NCIS in 2018. Abby Ciuto resigned from her job at NCIS after an assassination attempt. Her farewell included face-to-face goodbyes with all her colleagues, except Gibbs, who only received a letter telling him of her departure. There had been increased animosity between Parrott and Harmon after Harmon began bringing his dog onto set in 2016. The dog bit a crew member, leading to them needing 15 stitches. After the final episode was broadcast, Parrott wrote a series of cryptic tweets alluding to issues behind the scenes and multiple physical assaults. Due to Abby's popularity, speculation and theories about why Parrott left the show only increased, and fans often demanded her return to the series. The constant questions led Parrott to tweet again about her NCIS departure in 2019, stating she was terrified of Harmon and him attacking me. I have nightmares about it. Parrott continued to insist that she would never return to NCIS. Mark Harmon remained on the show until 2021 and continues to be involved with the show and its prequel NCIS, Origins. Parrott is still on good terms with CBS and remains close to her other NCIS castmates. Plenty to keep Parrott busy. After NCIS, Parrott still has a lot on her plate. Polly Parrott moved on to several other projects after leaving NCIS. In 2020, Parrott played the role of single mother Jackie in the CBS sitcom Broke. Parrott found the sitcom about a working mom to be a refreshing change of pace from NCIS, stating Broke is her favorite show she's worked on, despite its cancellation in May 2020. She felt safe and respected while working on Broke, appreciating that there were more women on the crew and in leadership positions. Parrott's goodbye to NCIS was far from the end of her time with criminal justice and science. In 2018, she set up scholarships to benefit female students majoring in criminal justice at Georgia's Valdosta State University and New York's John Jay College of Criminal Science. Parrott is proud that the character of Abby Ciuto inspired so many young women to pursue careers in science and math. She didn't want that to end with Abby's departure from television. Parrott hopes that, if young people via this scholarship actually go and become more little Abbys out there, then she literally does live forever and so does her influence, and in a real-life way. Parrott will never return to acting. Parrott finds happiness by choosing reality over fiction. Polly Parrott retired from acting in 2020, but still remains involved in documentary production. In 2023, Parrott produced the documentary film Studio One Forever, about the famous club in West Hollywood and how it became an important part of the gay community. To explain her decision to leave acting, Parrott has said that she wants to be herself all the time. Acting once provided her with a means of escape by allowing her to be someone else, but she doesn't want that anymore, and that going back to being an actor would be taking away from this life of true authenticity that I'm living 100% of the time. Parrott only wants documentaries now because she only wants the truth. Parrott suffered from a massive stroke in 2021 that nearly killed her. Her experience heightened her desire to live in the present and not escape into fictional characters. In addition to her documentary work, Parrott likes to stay involved with causes that are important to her, like animal rescue and LGBTQ rights. NCIS Season 22 spoilers, is Lily Parker's sister? EP explains. We know that there are a handful of different storylines that are coursing through NCIS Season 22 at the moment. For the time of this article, let's look at one in particular, what is going on with Parker and Lily. We have certainly enjoyed getting a chance to see this storyline play out over time, and yet, there are a lot of things about it that remain unclear. One of the prevailing theories out there, especially because of some of what we saw in the Season 21 finale, is that we are talking here about Parker's sister, someone who may have died at sea, and therefore, it explains his dislike of being aboard a ship. As it turns out, this is not exactly the case. Speaking to TV Insider, showrunner Stephen D. Binder indicated that Lily is not his sister, and I wouldn't even say her name is Lily necessarily. That opens up a lot of possibilities, no? The executive producer indicated, as well, that Parker's father could be important to figuring this out. We all have family lore that gets passed down to us by our elders. And what is going to trigger Parker is he's going to go dig into some family lore and find out it's not what he had been told, that he has a memory of events, and then there were the events that his father, Francis X. McCarthy, told him, and then there are the events that actually happened. We're going to see Parker's father again. Parker's going to get a chance to go question his father about this and realize that what his life, or some life history that he thought was real, is not actually his history. In the end, things are going to get complicated, just be prepared for that already. What do you think is going on regarding Lily on NCIS? Be sure to share right now in the attached comments. Once you do just that, remember to keep coming back for other updates. Thank you for viewing this video. Please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button.